at MAGA, they're pissed off at those Indiana Republicans who voted down the map. Now, the leader of the Indiana Senate said because of their rules, they can't even take up a new map in 2026. So now they got to live with it. It was a 31-19 vote. It leaves in place 7 Republicans, 2 Democrats, as opposed to 9-0. Trump and J.D. Vance personally lobbied for months to push the plan through. Now they are upset. The Heritage Foundation calling this a betrayal as well. These people are mad. They're angry. Trump publicly blamed Indiana's Republican Senate leadership, especially Senate Pro Tem Roderick Bray, who voted no. Watch this.
It's funny because I won Indiana all 3 times by a landslide. And I wasn't working on it very hard. Would have been nice. I think we would have picked up 2 seats if we did that. You had one gentleman, the head of the Senate, I guess, Bray, whatever his name is. I heard he was against it. He'll probably lose his next primary, whenever that is. I hope he does, but because he's done a tremendous disservice. I mean, think of it. It's a great place. I love the people there. They love me. You know, we won in a landslide all 3 times. Got tremendous votes. I got record votes. And then there's no reason for doing that. And the Democrats do it to us, so I can't imagine that they do it. But I wasn't very much involved. But there's a man named Bray, as I guess, head of the Senate. Was that Bray? Is that the name, Bray? I mean, I'm sure that whenever his primary is, it's, I think, in 2 years. But I'm sure he'll go down. He'll go down. I'll certainly support anybody that wants to go against him.
Is that the case? Indiana Governor Mike Braun called the Senate's decision disappointing, pledging to work with Trump to literally challenge lawmakers who he says, quote, don't represent the best interests of Hoosiers. That's sort of weird. Show the senators, of course, who voted against. You see them right here. I don't understand what their problem is. I mean, they're all mad, upset by this. And so here's what gets me. How can you say people don't represent the interests of Hoosiers when these very people were elected by Hoosiers into office? But they're just mad, upset that they basically told Donald Trump he can kick rocks. And that's really what's going on here. And so it's just laughable when you begin to see how these folks are reacting, how angry they are, how upset they are, and how these Republicans are talking. I think it's funny. And what they can't stand the fact that they chose to have their own opinion. They actually chose to stand up and say, we think this is not right. We think this is fair. We think this is just. And so some of them have talked about that they were sick and tired of the threats. They did not like the fact that they were being targeted. They did not like the fact that you had, again, that they were calling in bomb threats. They were attacking them. One woman actually said that she was so angry, she's a grandmother, she said she picked up her son from school, and all he could talk about were all of these text messages that his teammates were getting trashing his grandmother. And that's when she said, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Look at this right here. You got this. This is one of these MAGA folks. Let me show y'all this here. And this is how they're operating. These are the assholes that sold out to communist Democrats in redistricting. They are an embarrassment to Indiana GOP voters. Every one of these nitwits needs a primary opponent. Worse, they sold out to communist Democrats for promise of campaign cash. Idiots. Do y'all actually think Democrats were trying to say we're going to give campaign cash to these Republicans? I don't think so. They were not trying to say that. But you see how they respond. They are mad because they can't get their way. Pull it up. This is what it looks like. So they're mad at them. Y'all, these are all hardcore conservatives. But they're mad because they chose to defy dear leader. And that's who Donald Trump is. He is, for them, he is the dear leader. There was another video I saw today, I'm looking for it right now, that I thought was pretty hilarious, where this one of these senators, he stood up and he was like, these are my friends and I can't believe y'all did this. This is not right. This is not fair. This is just unjust. I mean, Democrats, they stole 5 seats. And let me just take y'all back to what happened. Because, see, I think facts are important. You got to be stuck on stupid. You got to be stuck on stupid to stand up and say that Democrats started this in stealing 5 seats in California, when California's action only came about after what they did in Texas. Let me say it again. I have not seen any evidence where Democrats were saying we need to gerrymander maps to pick up seats in 2026. Donald Trump called for 5 in Texas. Texas capitulated. That punked Greg Abbott and Dan Patrick. So they gave him 5. Gavin Newsom said, okay, y'all take 5 from us. We're going to take 5 from y'all. California responded. Then all of a sudden, Missouri chose to gerrymander Congressman Emanuel Cleaver's seat. Then Ohio and Florida said, oh, we're going to gerrymander too. And all of a sudden, Maryland and Illinois said, oh, that's how y'all roll? We're going to get in on this as well. And then Virginia as well. So if Texas does not gerrymander 5 seats, the domino doesn't happen. North Carolina, they jumped in as well. So if any Republican says that the Democrats, they started this. No, they didn't. This all started because Trump demanded 5 in Texas. Michael Imhotep, host of the African History Network show out of Detroit, joins me. Matt Manning, civil rights attorney out of Corpus Christi, joins me. Dr. Zachary Kirk, educator and content creator of Atlanta, joins me as well. Y'all, this is real simple. We're not here, Matt, if Texas doesn't punk out and do what Trump wanted. But now the Republicans are mad because some of their own was like, yo, we just did this map 4 years ago. Hell no, we ain't doing this.
Right. And I'm hoping that this is a harbinger for them finally jumping ship because, you know, this midstream redistricting has affected me. In fact, the person I have to vote for Congress now is Vicente Gonzalez, who was previously over the valley. Right. So if Texas doesn't gerrymander, if they don't capitulate to the Republicans, then I personally am not having to look at different people than I would have the last several elections because of how they redrew the map. The point with this is, though, it's the Republicans' fault. Donald Trump told Texas to do it. Greg Abbott wants to be the heir apparent. He's going to do anything he can to lick Trump's boots. And he says, yes, sir, how much more do you need? Tell me how high to jump. And he does it, and he goes and gets those 5 votes, and then Gavin Newsom follows suit. And you see this obviously trickling across the country. And it's interesting to me that with him being a lame duck, especially with these, soon to be a lame duck, and with these last elections when, you know, they lost in Virginia and in New Jersey and at the points that they did, you would think that Republicans around the country would start jumping ship faster and saying, you know what, we're going to push back against that because it's very soon going to be the truth that it's no longer in our political interest to be tied to Donald Trump. But we see that they are still being ruled by fear, and that's exactly why they're capitulating in the way that they have.
And of course, you can always count on Donald Trump lying. And so he was like, oh, no, I really wasn't involved in a lot of this. Watch this.
In Indiana, just a few moments ago, the Senate there rejected the congressional maps to redistrict in that state. A number of Republicans voted against that redistricting effort. You have spent a lot of time talking about this. The vice president traveled to Indiana. What's your reaction?
Well, we won every other state. That's the only state. It's funny because I won Indiana all 3 times by a landslide. And I wasn't working on it very hard. Would have been nice. I think we would have picked up 2 seats if we did that. You had one gentleman, the head of the Senate, I guess, Bray, whatever his name is. I heard he was against it. He'll probably lose his next primary, whenever that is. I hope he does, but because he's done a tremendous disservice. I mean, think of it. It's a great place. I love the people there. They love me. You know, we won in a landslide all 3 times. Got tremendous votes. I got record votes. And then there's no reason for doing that. And the Democrats do it to us, so I can't imagine that they do it. But I wasn't very much involved. But
Michael, he lying. He called Indiana folks to the White House. J.D. Vance went down. Mike Johnson, his son. Oh, they worked real hard on this. This is what you say when you lose.
Right. And I'm glad this blew up in Donald Trump's face. He's a born liar, a straight-faced bullshitter, just like J.D. Vance, just like MAGA Mike Johnson. And you have Republicans sensing, 1, Donald Trump is losing power. 2, They realize he's not going to be there forever. 3, you've already had at least 42 Republicans in the House of Representatives who announced that they are retiring or not going to run again, things of this nature, right? So they see him weakening. Then you see these 21 Republicans in the state legislature in Indiana voting against redistricting. And I saw State Senator Michael Bohacek, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce his name, on Katie Turner's show today on MSNBC, and he's the one who came out and said he wasn't going to vote for this because Trump referred to Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota as retarded, and State Senator Michael Bohacek has a daughter with disabilities, and he really took offense to that. And one of the things he said was in Indiana, he said they have more real Republicans, more conservative Republicans, okay, than like the MAGA Republicans, okay? Now, I don't know how true that is, but we saw they voted against this. So there needs to be more of this. Donald Trump is a liar that we see across the country. We just saw in Miami. You have a Democratic mayor for the first time in 30 years. So we see these special elections and things like this taking place. Republicans are losing badly. So, yeah, I think he senses the walls are closing in on that gilded ballroom that he's constructing.
Zachary, I love the people who are just really so upset. Here's one of these Indiana Republicans, Senator Chris Garten. He was really, really fired up about wanting to gerrymander the map.
Some will say these maps are political. Let me be clear. You're damn right they are. Political policy is political. Safe streets are political. Look at Indianapolis. Affordable electricity is political. A drug-free Indiana is political. Peace in the Middle East is political. I dealt with it firsthand. If drawing a map that secures 2 more seats for the Republican Party means that we continue to see overdose deaths drop by 20%, then I'll draw that map every single day of the week and twice on Sunday. If drawing a map means that we'll continue to see a 93% drop in illegal immigration, then I'll sign it with a smile on my face.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.